Hey everybody, welcome to Upstairs to Write Music. This is your host Mike McWilliams. Got another article from the New Music Express. Hopefully we can get through this one without too many typos. I mean, I'm just saying, man. If you're going to put this stuff online, you might want to read through it and or at least run it through, some kind of spell checker or some kind of syntax, something. But anyway, I digress. Let's get on to what the article is about. Slash says rock became dull and boring, but thinks it's now turning over a new leaf thanks to bands like Greta Van Fleet. I like Greta. For the record, I like Greta Van Fleet. I know a lot of you guys out there say they're a Led Zeppelin ripoff, but you know what? I'll take a Led Zeppelin ripoff any day over the week over, 99% of the stuff in terms of rock that's come out in the last decade. So let's just put that. Oh, there's Mr. Slash. Interesting story. I once had a job cleaning up a house that he had just bought years and years and years and years back in the 90s. I didn't want to get into how I got in circumstances where I was cleaning houses, but I was cleaning houses. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. And one of the houses that me and my crew went through to clean was a house that he had just purchased. Awesome house, man. Just, the place just screamed rock and roll. And it just had a vibe to it in LA. Anyway, that's my Slash story. That's about as good as it gets. I cleaned his house once. That he hadn't even moved in yet. The Guns N' Roses guitar blamed it on the commercial approach to music. Slash has opened up about the state of guitar music. I think they meant the state of rock music. Guitar music could be anything. And says, thanks to a new breed of bands, rock is turning over a new leaf. Well, I just have to say that sounds awesome. Let's press on. Speaking in a new interview with Billboard Radio China, the Guns N' Roses member was asked if he thinks rock is a bit of a hiding period. See, man, damn it, we couldn't even get to the second paragraph in New Music Express. Come on. The Guns N' Roses member was asked if he thinks rock is in a bit. See the I-N that goes between the I-S and the A. That would have been cool, but no. Anyway, told you. After genres like hip-hop, rap, and R&B took over some of the world's favorite genres. Well, I don't know about this R&B part. Hip-hop, absolutely. Rap, absolutely. R&B is kind of dead. It's almost as dead as rock, to be frank with you. Maybe they should have read hip-hop, rap, and country, because that would be the literal truth. Anyway, let's go on. I get asked this question pretty often, and far be it for me to have the answers, he replied. But I bet you he's got one. Yeah, I hope he does. Slash, for God's sake. I think he knows a little bit about rock and roll music and the industry. When Velvet Revolver came out, there was definitely a movement that started in the early to mid 1990s that held up all the way through the end of that decade and went into the millennium. And so we came out and there was tons of new rock and roll bands, and they weren't new metal and they weren't indie bands. Hey, new metal, isn't what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of the guy's name. I did 2 shows on it. Oh, the guy pisses me off. Anyway, I'll remember. And they weren't indie bands, but there was definitely this kind of indie feel to them. And, Threaten. Yeah, Threaten is a new metal band. Ugh. And I think one of the reasons that Velvet Revolver was as successful as it was had a lot to do with singer Scott Weiland, because he was still a holdover from that kind of thing, that 90s thing. Stone Temple Pilots, great band, absolutely great, fantastic band. They came from the 90s, like Nirvana, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it was all cool in the spring. And then as we got down the line, it seemed that rock sort of got, more than anything, the commercial approach to rock and roll that the industry forces on bands or forces people to think that this is how they have to go about it to succeed. And it just turns into this generic mishmash that managed to get onto the radio, but doesn't really turn anybody on, and it's just dull and boring, and people start looking elsewhere. Yeah, I agree with that. When you have the A&R, the artist repertoire guys at the record companies telling bands that they love so much that they signed them, they loved them for what they had, but the minute they got signed, they said, okay guys, love what you did before, but we're going to do it this way. And, obviously in that statement you can see I have no love for a lot of A&R guys for that very reason, is that they'll mess you up. I know a lot of guys that got signed and they had great sound. I mean, and something happened and they just tanked. And that something that happened was the record labels telling them how they should do what it is that they did that got them signed to the label in the first place. I mean, you go figure the logic on that one. I think that was really what happened to the industry as far as rock and roll is concerned. After 2006 until just recently. But it seems to be turning over a new leaf right now. So I'm really interested to see where it goes over the next few years, because there's a lot of really hungry young rock and roll bands getting together right now that I'm aware of. And obviously, Greta Van Fleet, that's Greta Van Fleet, by the way, if you guys don't know. I like Greta Van Fleet. Have done amazingly well and make everybody perk up and go, oh wow. Now there's people out there looking for young teenage rock and roll bands to sign. So it's interesting. Oh, well, they might sign them, but you better hope that they don't get their hooks in them. And just put them in the studio and let them do what they do. So it's interesting if you watch everything as it develops in real time. It's really, really boring, and shit takes what seems like forever. But if you're not paying attention, all of a sudden you turn around and go, oh my God, something just changed. And it's just a constant state of ebbs and flows of rock and roll in this business. I like that. I like that statement. The rock and roll is dead kind of thing meme is been going on there for a while. And I just think that it had to turn around. In a 3-star review, they couldn't get a 5-star? Anyway, New Music Express described Greta Van Fleet's debut album as a headbanging, Led Zepp-indebted collection of rock songs that might not change the world, but it'll at least give your head a little wobble. Yeah, okay, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I've been listening to these guys for a little while now, and I really like what they're doing. I like their sound, I like their approach. As a guy who, has his own rock and roll album out there myself, visit my music store and take a listen to it, or listen to it on whatever it is you listen to music to. I think that this is exciting. I think these guys are exciting, and I agree with Slash that there is an ebb and flow, and that things might be picking up. Rock may not be, you might not be writing the obituary on rock and roll quite yet. Anyway, a subject close to my heart with a guitarist that I actually truly, honestly love and respect. And good to hear what he had to say about it. It's interesting to get his insights, because as I said, he's somebody who would absolutely know. Anyway, tell me what you think down in the comments. Is rock and roll dead or not? Anyway, you guys take care, and I'll chat with you later.
Like the show? Well, show your support by subscribing and hitting the like button. See you later.